Hi, this is Dale Guiducci with Home-Based Solar Sales. Home-Based Solar Sales is an independent representative of Reach Solar, and this video is all about how does solar save people money. Now, if you're in the solar industry, you're like, yeah, I know how solar saves people money, but a lot of times homeowners don't. We get the comment from a homeowner, solar is just too expensive, or there's too much money I have to pay up front to get solar. We hear that, and of course, if we hear those things, then that means that homeowner is not educated about solar as it stands today in 2024 and 2025. So I want to delve into that for homeowners, but also as a company, Reach Solar, we have setters. Now we have setters that aren't the traditional setters that, again, if you are familiar with the solar industry, that you're used to. There's a couple of different things that solar companies do to produce leads, to get and acquire customers. Number one, they do online advertising. That's a traditional method of getting leads or buying leads from a marketing company that does online marketing, or door to door. If you're a homeowner going to have experienced people that are door to door coming to your home. Well, Reach Solar doesn't do any of those things, and I'm going to get into it in just a little bit as to why that's an advantage for us. But just know we have setters that instead of walking door to door, they get on the phone and they contact homeowners that they know. Now, this is a part-time spare time for a lot of people, but also a lot of our setters come from industries like real estate and mortgage and plumbing and electrical and roofing and any kind of one of the dozens of industries that work with homeowners already. In other words, they already sell a product or sell a service to homeowners. They can come and work with us as a setter because now they've got some value add that they can bring to the table for the homeowners that they already have as customers or they're trying to get as customers. So this video is for homeowners, but it's also for those people that are considering becoming a setter for Reach Solar. So both homeowners and setters that are considering coming to work in this industry with us at Reach, you need to understand how solar saves people money. And when you do understand that as a homeowner, you're going to want to get a proposal to show what solar can do for your specific home, because every home is unique and every family is unique in terms of the amount of energy that they use. And if you're considering being a setter, once you understand how solar saves people money, you're going to get excited about the opportunity to be a hero, really, for a lot of homeowners that you know. So first, before we dive in, going back to the conversation about customer acquisition and how traditional solar companies go about doing that, again, Reach does it differently. We lower the cost of solar for the homeowner because we lower the customer acquisition cost. As I mentioned, companies get leads and acquire customers through online advertising. It's very expensive. It's very effective, but it's very expensive. Same thing with people that walk neighborhoods and knock on doors for solar companies. Can be effective, but very expensive. We have lowered the customer acquisition cost. We work with setters that call people that they know. There's a lower cost to do that. We do pay our setters well, but the overall cost of acquisition of customers is down from the traditional solar methodology. The second thing that we've lowered is the baseline cost. So we go out and we negotiate with a lot of different regional installers around the country. First of all, we want to make sure our homeowners are working with the very best installation companies in the country. Other solar companies like us, solar dealers like us, they go out and they'll develop a relationship with one national company. Well, first of all, that company isn't great in every single location around the country because they're spread too thin, okay, amongst other things, number one. Number two, you're not able to necessarily lower or negotiate lower baseline costs with that one company, depending on the area that you're in. So we work with the very best regional installation companies we have in this country in the different regional areas in which we sell. This third thing in terms of lowering costs is that we do remote sales. So our salespeople are not driving neighborhoods, driving from their home or an office somewhere to 40, 50 miles away for an appointment. No, they're doing it over the internet. They're using Zoom to do it. So we have very little cost in regard to that. Now, why is that important? Because we get to lower the cost for the homeowner. It allows us to be competitive, very, very competitive in our pricing out in the marketplace. All right, so how does solar work, right? We have to figure out how solar works so we can share with you how solar saves people money. First things first, there is no upfront cost. Years ago, there was an upfront cost. People had to make a down payment on their solar system. That is not true today. So a solar system is installed in a home, and the homeowner typically is not going to make a payment for 45, 60 days, perhaps after the solar system is installed. So nothing out of their pocket to get the solar system on their roof, meaning the solar system is already going to work to drive down the cost of their electric bill, that yes, and then pay their first monthly payment to the finance company for the solar system. So there is no out-of-pocket cost for a homeowner. The second thing is there's a very nice and healthy federal tax credit. It's 30% of the system price. So if you have a $30,000 solar system, $9,000 can be taken back by the homeowner on their tax liability. They can spread it out over several years if they like. But they can get $9,000 in that case, 30% of $30,000, $9,000 back in a federal tax credit. And this federal tax credit is slated to stay at 30% right through 2032, and then it's going to go down to, I believe, 28% in the following year, 26, etc. But Congress will then take a look at it at that point. But between now, which is late 2024, and 2032, we've got a really nice federal tax credit that we can offer homeowners. There's also an increase in property value. Studies have been done. Zillow's the one we kind of use, but there's other studies out there. Zillow's study says 4 to 5%. So if someone can increase, they own a $350,000 home, they can get a 5% increase on that. You're looking at about $17,500 increase in value in the home. Why is that happening? Because people are looking for homes that are more energy efficient. Solar makes a home dramatically more energy efficient, and they are willing to pay more for those homes, and that's going to continue to be the case as time goes on, and that 4 to 5% may turn into a lot more down the road. And maybe the most important thing for homeowners to understand and for setters to understand is that when a homeowner goes solar, they're locking in their energy rate to a fixed amount in most cases, in the vast majority of cases, a fixed amount that they're going to pay for electricity throughout the course of not just this year or next year or 5 years from now, but 10 years, 15 years, 20, and up to 25 years from now. They're going to be paying a fixed amount, which is the payment on their solar system, and their exposure to the utility company is going to be nil. It's going to be very, very little. Again, in most cases, every situation is different, but in most cases, their exposure to a 5%, 10%, 15%, even 20 or more percent increase that we've been seeing with utility companies over the last few years, that's not going to affect the homeowner. They've locked in the rate on a fixed payment basis for their solar system. And that is maybe one of the biggest advantages to going solar. And we'll dive in here in just a little bit. So in order for us to explain how solar works, you've got to understand a term which is called kilowatt hour. What is a kilowatt hour? Well, gasoline is measured in gallons. Well, very simply, electricity is measured in kilowatt hours. If you pull out an electric bill, if you own a home or rent a home and you get an electric bill, pull it out, and it'll show you that you used X amount of kilowatt hours and you're paying so much per kilowatt hour. So that's how that's measured. It's very, very simple. So there's two ways that a utility company works with homeowners when they go solar. One is called one-to-one net metering. One-to-one net metering. So let's talk about how a solar system works. Well, first of all, you've got this big yellow ball in the sky called the sun, and it's free energy. So what solar panels do is they absorb this free energy from the sun. But solar only produces energy during the day, right? When the sun is out. When the sun sets at 5 to 8, depending on the time of the year, p.m., then the solar system is not working, right? So solar produces energy during the day for the homeowner. However, a properly sized solar system will provide the home more energy than it needs to operate during the day. So instead of just powering the home, it's going to produce a lot of energy, yes, to power the home, but there's going to be excess energy. What do we do with that excess energy? Well, if you follow that green arrow, that excess energy will be sent back out through the electric grid. Homeowners are used to just getting energy from the electric grid. Well, this excess energy is going to be sent back out through the electric grid, and the utility company is going to grab that energy. And what do they do with it? They're going to sell it to other people that don't have solar. The utility company will give a homeowner a credit for each kilowatt hour sent to the grid. Now, because this is what we call one-to-one net metering, these credits are going to be paid to them at the same price that they would be paying for electricity if they were buying it from the electric company. Let's use an example of 15 cents a kilowatt hour. In other words, you can look at your bill, see what you're paying per kilowatt hour, but again, let's say it's 15 cents. If you need to buy energy from the electric company at 15 cents, but they're offering one-to-one net metering, when you send excess energy out to the grid because your solar system's producing all this excess energy, they're going to pay you 15 cents for that energy, 15 cents per kilowatt hour. So you're going to be building up credits, and these credits will offset what the home uses from the utility company at night, because remember, the solar system doesn't work at night. So you are going to be buying energy from the electric company at night, but your credits that you're building up during the day from this excess energy pushed out to the grid are going to do what we call offset that amount of energy you're using at night. It's a beautiful system. Now, in many cases, not all, but in many cases, the number of kilowatt hours going out during the day can be greater than the number of kilowatt hours used at night. Why? Because you're not using that much energy typically after 9, 10 o'clock at night, all the way till, say, 6 o'clock in the morning when the sun comes up, right? So you're not using a ton of energy. So you can build up excess credits during that time. This produces what we call net credits to the homeowner, which can be used in future months, or in some cases, depending on the utility company, they'll cut you a check at the end of a year. This is a great solution when the utility company reimburses the homeowner the same kilowatt hour rate that the homeowner pays the utility company for buying electricity at night. One-to-one net metering. Now, the next way that a utility company could possibly treat homeowners with regard to those that go solar is when the utility company pays the homeowner less than the retail rate. We call that the export rate, less than the retail kilowatt hour rate that a homeowner pays for energy from that utility company. And by the way, these are all up to the utility company. They decide whether they want to do one-to-one net metering, an export rate, or some other form of reimbursing the homeowner. Now, in this case, we want to send the smallest amount of energy out to the grid as possible. Not like we did with the one-to-one net metering, but a small amount of energy out to the grid as possible due to the lower reimbursement rate that the homeowner is now getting. So instead, what are we going to do with this excess energy? Again, the solar system is still producing all this energy, powering the home during the day, but this excess, what do we do with it? We're going to store it in a battery. We're going to put it in a battery, and when the sun goes down and the solar system isn't working anymore, instead of buying energy from the utility company, we're going to take the energy out of the battery, and the battery is going to power the home throughout the course of the evening. And it's going to power that home until it fully discharges. That might be at 9, 10 o'clock at night. It might be 3 o'clock in the morning. It might be 6 o'clock the next day. That depends on how much energy was produced the day before and how much energy the homeowner is using. Now, the home may need to draw a small amount of energy from the grid at night until the sun comes up in the morning, and then the battery is going to be recharged by the sun for use the next evening. And this cycle goes 365 days a year. This solution allows for the homeowner to purchase very little, and in some cases no, energy from the utility company throughout the course of the year. Here's an example of how that works with a battery. In the morning, you'll see this yellow bar and a little bit of blue on top where it says solar begins to produce energy from the sun. That means the sun starts coming up. And again, it's different throughout the course of the year, depending on if it's summer, winter, fall, spring, etc. Right? So let's look at about 5 o'clock in the morning. This is where solar begins to produce energy from the sun. There's going to be a little bit at this point, say, energy from the battery left over, but the solar system is now going to produce energy. And now it's also going to start charging the battery because the battery is fully discharged. In other words, it's run out of energy. It powered the home throughout the course of the evening, but it needs to be charged. So the solar system is going to do what? Power the home and now start recharging that battery. And it's going to do that throughout the course of the morning until the battery is completely charged. But now you see that sort of orange bar at the top of the light blue bar up there. Well, what is that? Well, that means that the solar system is powering the home. It's already fully charged the battery, but now there's excess energy. What's it going to do? It's going to start sending that energy out to the grid. And of course, as we talked about in this case with an export rate, the reimbursement rate is less than one-to-one net metering, but it's better to get less than it is to get nothing. So we are going to send, in this case, excess energy out to the grid, and the homeowner is going to build up these credits. And that's going to work all the way until the sun goes down and the solar is no longer working. And of course, you probably guessed it, at that point, the battery is going to kick in and it starts powering the home in the evening and through the night until it discharges. Okay, so now that you understand the two main ways in which utility companies treat reimbursement for homeowners producing excess energy, let's look at some physical dollars and cents with regard to a couple of installations that we have done for some homeowners. Okay, so what you see on the left-hand side is a utility bill that we got from a homeowner. They simply took a picture of their utility bill. They get a bill in the mail. They took a snapshot of it for us. They sent it off to our setter, and the setter uploaded this into the system. And I personally got this utility bill to design a system for this homeowner. Now, it comes from Azusa Light and Power. And of course, because I'm very familiar with the California market, I know that that is a one-to-one net metering situation with Azusa Light and Power when one of their homeowners goes solar. So I look at the utility bill, and in this box over here to the right, we see that we've got the breakdown of how many kilowatt hours they used in a month, what they're paying per kilowatt hour, the different rates, because sometimes it's on a time of use basis and other rate schedules. But I've got a total amount for that particular month that they're paying, which includes a public benefit charge, a state energy charge, a community maintenance fee. There's a lot of fees that get built into a electric bill, a power cost adjustment, etc. So there's a lot of things in there, but I've got a total amount. And then the box on the left-hand side gives me a bar graph. And that bar graph is going to tell me how many kilowatt hours per month over the last 12 months that this particular homeowner has used. So now I have an annual consumption amount. So what do we know from all this? Well, first of all, again, one-to-one net metering. There's a retail reimbursement rate of 30 cents per kilowatt hour, because that's what they basically are paying. They use a little over 10,000 kilowatt hours a year, and their average bill is $200 a month. That's what we can get from a utility bill. So when our setters are working, they're out and they're talking to homeowners, the homeowners are interested in finding out more about solar, what solar can do for them. We got to get a utility bill. That utility bill goes to one of our salespeople that are very proficient and expert knowledge in that particular area, and this is the information that they find out. That annual production is a little over 100% of the consumption that that homeowner used last year, the previous 12 months. It's a 7.2 kilowatt solar system, or 7,200 watts. I'll give you a better picture of it here. You can see that we put the solar panels on the west side, northwest side, and on the south. Reason being is that's great exposure to the sun. We had some trees to the north, so we didn't want to put panels there. We typically don't want to put panels to the north anyway. And we didn't need to, but we could have put a lot of panels to the east. So what you're seeing here is these light gray rectangles. That's where we could have put panels. The dark gray rectangles are the ones where we did put solar panels. Now here's where totally just makes sense for this particular homeowner. Okay, you got to follow along these little red boxes and circles and arrows and so forth. So $122.71 for this solar system. That is what the payment for the financing is going to be for this solar system. They are going to start paying this when? About 45 to 60 days after the solar system is installed. Then we look at their new utility rate, not 30 cents a kilowatt hour, but dramatically less, down to about 20 cents a kilowatt hour. Their new estimated utility bill on a monthly basis is $5.80, not the $200 that it was. And we also have a total monthly electric cost, which includes the new estimated utility bill and the payment for the solar system of $128.51. So again, let's go through the numbers on the left with the arrows. Follow the arrows. The new solar payment's $122.71. The new average utility payment is $5.80. The total is $128.71. And they're going to be saving, based on the fact that their average monthly bill is $200 a month, they're going to be saving $71.29 per month right out the gate. Okay, right away. And their overall savings for the first year is $855.48. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about a current average monthly payment of $200. Their bills can be $300, $350, $400 during certain months of the year. They won't be that much anymore or anywhere near it, because we're talking about a solar payment of $122.71. So how this shakes down is that based on a 5% per year annual utility rate increase, we could have used any number we wanted. We could say 10%, we could say 13%, 20%, which is kind of what utility bills have been going up over the course of the last few years as a rate. But let's just say 5% a year, guesstimating that over the course of the next 25 years, the utility rate's going to go up 5% a year. This homeowner is going to have 25 year savings of $79,971. If you average that out over the 25 years, that's $3,200 a year. Now, if you're a homeowner, you should be excited about that, because where else, as a homeowner, can you save $3,200 a year? Not on your car insurance, right? Most likely. I don't know where else you could go to save that kind of money over the course of 25 years on an annual basis. If you're a setter or looking to be a setter with our company, you should be super excited about this, because it's not like you're going out to sell this person a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 item. What you're doing is you're going out to help them save $80,000. You can bring an opportunity to somebody that you know, somebody you care about, that can save them on average over the next 25 years about $3,200 a year. That is what you're trying to get someone to take a look at. And all you're trying to do is get their utility bill so we can show them the numbers. In some cases, it's not going to work out this great. And I'll tell you at the end of this video why that might be the case. But in this case, you would be a hero. Let's take a look at another situation. This is with Southern California Edison. Now, what we know with Southern California Edison in California is we are not on a one-to-one net metering situation. We are on that second example that I already showed you, which is an export rate, which means that the reimbursement rate for excess energy produced by a solar system is going to be greatly underneath what the retail rate is for solar. In California, it's going to be about 7.5 cents per kilowatt hour, right? So we are definitely on an export rate. This homeowner uses, based on the fact that we have a utility bill here showing us all the charges that they have throughout the month, that they are using 7,761 kilowatt hours a year. We get that information from the graph above. Their rate that they're paying is about 45 cents a kilowatt hour, and their average bill is $288 a month. Now, if you picked up on something, the last bill we looked at, that was also in Southern California. They were paying 30 cents per kilowatt hour. This homeowner's paying 45 cents per kilowatt hour. It depends on the utility company. But again, let's look at this from a standpoint of this homeowner having an average bill of $288 a month. Here's the system. 5.2 kilowatts or 5,200 watts. The production is 7,800 116 kilowatt hours for the year, which again is just a little over 100% of their usage from that previous year based on the graph that came from their utility bill. You can see where we placed the panels, some directly to the east, some directly to the west, so it's going to be getting sun all day long in the morning and in the evening. Great solution for them. They've got a great roof line for solar. Now let's look at these numbers. Their payment on this system is going to be $114.15 a month. Their new utility rate is going to be 35 cents a kilowatt hour, not the 45 that they're paying right now. Their new estimated utility bill is going to be $110.29, and total monthly electric cost of $224, $224.44. Okay, so again, their average monthly payment is $288. Their new solar payment is $114.15. Their new utility payment on average is going to be about $110 a month. The new monthly total $224. They're going to be saving $63.56 per month in the first year, so that's going to be about $762 in savings for the first year, based on, again, a 5% per year annual utility rate increase, which Southern California Edison is far exceeding that, but let's just say 5%. The 25-year savings for this homeowner is going to be $71,460, or $2,858 per year. You go talk to this homeowner and you say, listen, have utility bills been going up? You know the answer is going to be yes, all over the country, not just in Southern California, but all over the country. Well, listen, I can maybe show you a way where you could save some money on your electric bill. All I need is a copy of your most recent bill. If I can save you some money, I don't know if I can, but if I can save you some money, I'll give you a call. That's all you have to do as a setter. You get the homeowner's utility bill. It doesn't cost them anything. There's no obligation. We're going to run some numbers. If we can come up with a situation like this for the homeowner where they're going to be saving on average $2,800 a year over the course of the next 25 years, the homeowner would be crazy not to take a look at it, especially because there's no money out of pocket. It's going to increase their property value. There's just a 30% tax credit. There's just so many benefits to solar. Now, having said all of this, okay, not every home is going to see initial savings right away. Some homeowners are going to be paying a little bit more to get solar started, but as their utility rate increases from their electric company, it's going to overtake what they're paying for solar, and then they're going to start seeing some significant savings. So just know every home is different. There's a lot of variables involved in solar, such as the kilowatt hour rate charged by the utility company. Some are more, some are less. You can see that. Higher rates typically equal higher savings. There's shading from the trees. Now, sometimes homeowners are willing to trim those trees or cut them down, but that's entirely up to the homeowner. So that's an issue or a challenge or a variable that we have to work with. The size of the roof is another issue. Sometimes if somebody uses a ton of energy, but it's a 2-story or even 3-story home and they have a smaller amount of roof space in relation to the amount of energy they use, we can't put enough solar panels on there to get them a 100% offset. So we've got to work with that. There's the tilt of the roof. And there's something called azimuth, which is really the direction of the roof plane to the sun. So we've got to work with all those different variables which can affect how much production a solar system has for that homeowner. The reimbursement rate from the utility company for excess energy production, we've talked about that. Therefore, not every homeowner is going to see immediate savings as shown in the previous examples. However, nearly all will have significant long-term savings and an increased property value, making solar a great investment in their home and for their future. So in a nutshell, if you're a homeowner or you're potentially looking at becoming a setter and working with us here at Reach Solar, either way, all we're trying to do in this video is show you some of the ways that solar can save homeowners money. Again, we can't show you every way, we can't show you every situation because every home is different. Every family uses a different amount of energy. Every utility company is different. And if we're working in different states, different state laws come into effect as well. So that's where we as experts are going to be able to put some numbers together. We're going to be able to put a system design together for a homeowner, and we're going to be able to then present it to them if in fact it makes sense for them to go solar. I will tell you, there are situations where I'll get back to a setter and I go, this one isn't going to work. So it's not like we're going to try to sell solar to every single homeowner, whether it works for them or not. No, but in a situation where we can save that homeowner a significant amount of money long term, we most definitely want to talk to them. We would love if you are a homeowner, you see this video, you go, wow, I've got nothing to lose by submitting my utility bill. I'm going to put contact information for me down underneath the video, and you can, if you're watching on my website, you can see it there. But also, if you are a setter interested in working with us on a part-time basis, maybe earning $1,000 a month by going out and finding one homeowner a month that can get excited about listening to us about saving money, which who wouldn't, right? But you can find one homeowner a month, you're going to be making about $1,000 a month. Some people make a lot more than that because they go out and find multiple homeowners, but you potentially could have a very nice either side hustle or full-time career at Reach Solar. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to put some information down. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see some information in the comments where you can get a hold of me. Take good care.